Friends, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to be here. We're getting ready for launch. This is going to be the first of a 10-part series exploring the 10 dimensions. Now, each part might take one or two sessions, but we're going to try and keep it short because we've got a lot to cover. And it's incredibly exciting. And each dimension is so unique. So let me just give you a brief overview. Let's talk for a second about oneness, because that is the first dimension, oneness. And what's going to happen as we explore these dimensions, every dimension is just looking at the same thing. But in the second dimension, there'll be another perspective. In the third dimension, there'll be another perspective. In other words, in the first dimension, there's one perspective. In the second, there's two. Third is three, and so on, up to the 10th dimension. So let's take the first dimension here. So who is all that is? Who is the all? Well, all that is in the first dimension is simply being. In other words, in the 9th dimension, all that is sees itself in all its parts. But in the first dimension, all that is just being all that is. That's all there is to it. There's no other perspective. It's just total immersion into the all that isness. Now, let's bring this back to ourself. We are all that is. We are an expression of all that is in this reality, in this third dimensional reality we're in. And as we grow into our all that isness, we're opening up our consciousness to explore and be open to the myriad parts of ourself that we experience in this reality. And not just in this dimension, but in other dimensions as well. So, the way to experience your all that isness is in silence or in stillness. Let me give you a slightly different perspective. In our reality, everything physical is an illusion. It's all a reflection of the eternal energy that exists in Framework 2. So every physical thing we see here has a counterpart in Framework 2, where its energetic counterpart is eternal. But that's not the case here. We know that our reality is reflected of constant change. Now, interestingly enough, when we think about, so we know that this reality is an illusion, a complete illusion, created by us, by all that is, to explore our all that isness ourselves, so that all that is could get a different perspective of itself, because all that is knows everything. So it couldn't get a different perspective, it knew it all. So this reality was created. Duality, the second dimension, and the third dimension were created so that all that is could give full expression to its energies. Now, two things. One, I hate to break your bubble, but non-physical is also an illusion. In other words, when we think of non-physical as heaven, for instance, it's also an illusion. But just a short step beyond that dimension is the void. The void. And in the void, there is nothing. Now here's the huge paradox. In the void exists everything and all creation as well as nothing and stillness. It's all there together. And we're eager for enlightenment, but I caution patience. Because when you get to the void, everything is there. It's nothing, it's stillness, but in that stillness, everything exists. So, all at once. So, it's a little bit much for our senses, for our sentient being, to experience. So, don't be too eager for complete enlightenment in the sense of connecting with your all that isness. But do be eager to be open and create and continue your relationship. Now, a couple things. One, we are all that is. We were part of all that is before the beginning. So when you think of it in terms of this third density, just know that you were always here. You were always here from the beginning. You've had countless lives. You're unspeakably powerful in your all that isness. So, if you want to experience the first dimension, be still and know that you are all that is in this dimension. And as you relax into it and open up to the fact that every last thing you see, every last thing that you feel and think is part of your all that isness. Welcome to the first dimension. I love you and I'm thrilled and I can't wait to continue on this journey. Thank you, friends.